What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, SumnSumnSumn. Hit the keys. Here today to bring you guys 7 free plugins that have just recently come out or that are free for a limited time only. Make sure if you guys like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. But let's go ahead and get right into these freebies. Some, hit the key. All right, guys. So I'm not gonna go through every single plugin in a deep overview like I typically do for obvious reasons because there's 7 free plugins. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna let you hear what each one of them sounds like and give you guys a really brief overview so you can decide if it's something that you wanna check out. The very first free plugin that I have for you guys today comes from IK Multimedia. It's called Moto Bass 2 CS. So when you open up the plugin, it is going to look like this. As you can see, it's got a very beautiful looking GUI. You only get one of the bass guitars with this one, so you get this 60s P bass, but it's all right because it sounds pretty good. When you listen to it, it sounds like this. So that's what it sounds like. It sounds pretty good. You can mess with the play style over here so you can go back and forth between finger pick and slap. So it's super dope. It's got other stuff over here that you can mess with, like you can alternate the strokes. You can mess with all kinds of different stuff over here. Then you can come over here to string. You can mess with the board up. That option is only available, obviously, I guess, if you have a paid version. But you do have a few controls over here that you can mess with. You can mess with the action. You can mess with the type over here. You can mess with a whole bunch of different stuff. And then you can come over here into electronics. You can dial in the bass sound that you want. So that's pretty cool as well. It's got some more controls over here that you can mess with. It's got studio effects, so you can mess with your amp, your modeling, and all that stuff too, which is pretty cool. And then it's got some patterns that you can use as well. So you can, you have some patterns or some grooves to start with, and so some of the grooves sound like this. So you only get down to this Abarth though, this last Abarth with the sounds. You don't get this one right here. I guess maybe you do get Acer. So I lied, you get all the way down to Adele with the sounds. So it's pretty cool. You get a bunch of different grooves to start off with. This is definitely a super fire bass guitar plugin in my personal opinion. I can't tell you if it's the best free one out yet because I've only had it for a few hours, but it does sound really good and I definitely like this one. All right, guys, and the second free plugin that I have for you guys today is called Baby Grand Piano by Evanescence. This plugin right here is only free until the 10th of June. So if you want this one, make sure you go check it out. What's cool about this one is that it's got 4 different mics, which make the piano sound different. So this isn't going to be your typical sounding piano. This piano is like super cinematic. You can use it for all kinds of different stuff. It's got a whole bunch of different practical uses. The default setting just basically sounds like this. So super fire. But with this too, as you're looking here, these are your 4 different mics. So you're going to get an AKG C414, an Audio Technica 2035, an SM57, and an H4n Pro. And so you can dial in the way that it sounds because they were mic'd at different angles and different locations. So messing with the mics is definitely going to change the sound of this piano. You get all kinds of different stuff. Like I really like this fill feature right here. So like, but if I turn this fill up, so you can hear how it's giving it a whole different sound. It's adding more character to that sound. This waves feature is nice too as well. Kind of gives it that warbles, tremolo feel, something like that. But it does have some nice settings in here. So you're going to get all kinds of different pianos. There's only a few different presets, but you're going to get different sounds. So like, so with that, obviously you only get the mechanics of the piano, but that's cool as well. So you got a few more over here. So, I mean, again, you can spruce it up really nice. This one right here is my favorite of all the pianos in this plugin. So again, that's a pretty interesting little piano plugin. Another one that I'd recommend checking out. Again, it is free. You guys know I'll have the links for all of these below in the description to check out. But just super nice if you want a different kind of feel with a piano, something that you want to throw in and get going right away, but you don't have to put a lot of effects on to cook it to make sound different. This already sounds pretty different. All right, guys, and the third free plugin that I have for you guys today comes from Vienna Symphonic Libraries. It's called Violin Runs. As you look at the plugin, when you open it up, it's going to look like this. I'm going to say this every single time. We don't like iLok for free products. Thank you so much for the goodies, VSL, but stop putting it under iLok because we don't like that, especially for free stuff. But with this one, it is basically Violin Runs, and it is, you can do single violin mode as well. So basically it's going to sound like this. So then with this as well, you can just put it in solo mode. So you can come over here and push perform runs, and then it'll allow you to perform the runs, but you can only play keys that are in whatever scale you have highlighted. So you see, as I move it around, more notes open up. If I put it on F major. So it's a nice sounding violin as well without just the runs, but the runs are definitely super nice. And then it's got all kinds of different stuff here. So some of them with different effects, so they sound just a little bit different. So you can hear all that extra on there, like it's got a little bit of distortion, some flanger or something on there, I'm not sure. But you know, they just got different kind of flavors. So again, this is another one. It's a nice little interesting violin plugin. You can use this to add a bunch of suspense. All right, and so now what I'm gonna do real quick for you guys is I'm gonna play what I put together so far with these melodic pieces so that you can hear what it sounds like. Then at the end, I'll play you guys a little beat that we put together with all the instruments that we used. So basically, this is what I have so far. All right, so that's what we have so far. All right, guys, and the fourth free plugin that I have for you guys today on this list is called Lofi by Audiolatry. When you open it up, it is going to look like this. I do have to say, for all of you software developers out there, make sure that we're paying attention to other companies' names, because another company dropped a Lofi, similar looking GUI as far as colors, you know, so Just keep that in mind so you don't confuse the consumer. But this right here is a pretty decent little plugin. It's really good for lo-fi. The sounds are going to sound really good for lo-fi. It's not really going to be like sounding realistic for any kind of orchestral stuff or anything like that. But they do have some good sounds. I really like this flute. You know, you got your reverb, you got your cutoff, you got your modulation over here. It does have a few other sounds that sound pretty decent as well. I mean, again, you can use all this stuff for lo-fi. And what's cool about this as well is it has FX layers. So you can add effects, as you can hear that vinyl crackle. But it just has different effects. So what they said they did for this is they said they ran all the sounds through a Mellotron. So you can hear all that extraness though, which is great for lo-fi. But with this, there's a bunch of different sounds. So you get some brass sounds. They sound okay. The trumpet sounds pretty fire. I mean, again, it sounds good for lo-fi because it's going to be low fidelity for you. So, I mean, you can definitely use that in some lo-fi tracks. It's got some decent sounding brass and trombones and stuff just for like, again, for lo-fi. Because you're not going to be able to use that in just like a regular beat and try to pass it off as like a real, you know, trombone or something like that. It's got a super fire organ. So super fire organ, you know, and it's got some other stuff. It's got a really nice choir here. So it doesn't sound bad at all. The other choir is not that bad either. So not bad at all. Again, I would recommend checking this plugin out, especially if you do lo-fi. You can definitely find some usage for some of the sounds in this plugin. And one more thing I got to mention about this plugin too, when you do go to download this plugin and it's going to ask you to name a fair price, when you put in 0, it's not going to let you go through. So what you're going to have to do is put in $1 and then go to purchase or the next page. And then once you go to the next page, it's going to ask you for a promo code. You enter in free in all caps, and then that'll make this free for you. I definitely got to make sure I mention that for you guys. The 5th free plugin that I have for you guys today is called Sapphire Guitar by Zach Sounds. So when you open up the GUI, it's going to look like this. Basically, this is not a realistic sounding guitar. It's just a guitar that's got like different textures. This is really good for like video gamey stuff or anything where you don't need a realistic sounding guitar, but it doesn't sound bad. So this is what it basically sounds like. The graphics and that reverb are pretty tight too. Same with this filter. So then here's another preset for this. you can hear with that texture, you can definitely get a nice little sound for this. This would go perfect with that last plugin, the Lofi, or any kind of R&B beat. It would sound good in some kind of trap beats as well. I feel like this plugin does have a place, just not a place if you're looking for a real guitar. So, you know, the sixth free plugin that I have for you guys today is from Siren Effects. It's called Noise Palette. So when you open up the plugin, it is going to look like this. It has a scalable GUI. It starts off like this. I've already made it big. Basically, this plugin just gives you different kind of noises. So whether it's a red noise, a pink noise, a white noise, blue and violet. I know some of you guys may be like, what do I need that for? Well, this is good for simulating like thunder, rain, any kind of sound that you would put in a lo-fi beat or some kind of analog different sounds. So then in order to turn this on, all you have to do is basically turn this on. It stays on the whole time. So, you know, you can't pause it unless you put it on a mixer track and then, you know, you turn the volume down or whatnot, but it sounds like this initially. Kind of sounds like a little bit of rain, a little bit of static, but as you move this around, this is how you get different sounds and you can mess with the different kind of noise as well. So you can hear how that sounds like I'm at an ocean or something like that. But now as we start moving around the different kind of noise over here. See, that sounds kind of like thunder or like, you know, some waves hitting rocks and stuff like that. Now we have thunder. So with this plugin, you can make a lot of good sounding noises. You also have this randomized feature right here. So you can roll the dice and it'll pick the sound for you. So let's go ahead and roll this a few times. That sounds like a straight rainstorm or obviously some bunch of static. Add some birds with that right there. It sounds like, you know, you're out at the ocean. So again, that's just a nice little plugin to use if you want to add some kind of extra noise or ambience or background sounds to your beats. You can definitely use that and get the job done, that's for sure. And the seventh free plugin that I have for you guys today is called Panflow by Audio Modern. As you look here, the GUI on this one is beautiful as well. I have done an in-depth full review on this a couple weeks ago when the day it came out. But I had to throw this in the video in case you guys didn't see that video, because this is definitely a plugin I feel like you should grab as well. It's basically a panning tool, but it's super dope because you can randomize the panning. You can get it to change panning styles every time it goes around, but it's a really good panner. You know, this is what it sounds like on some hi-hats. You'll be able to hear the hi-hats pan back and forth. Super solid plugin. You know, you can do different kind of, you know, randomization. So you can do complex, simple, you know, very complex. You can make it change after every time. So this is a pretty cool feature. So you see how every time it goes around and completes the 2 bars, because that's what I have it on. You can change the speed to whatever you want it on, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 16, whatever on the bars, you can make it switch randomly. And you can put that on any instrument so that it gives you a different flavor or different feel on whatever it is that, you know, you have it on. The panning never stays the same, which is pretty dope. This is a really solid plugin. I recommend checking out the review I did on this and grabbing this one as well because it's pretty nice. All right, guys, so that's basically the 7 free plugins that I have for you guys today. I recommend going ahead and checking some of those out, grabbing what you need, because some of them are pretty good tools. Like I stated earlier, I did put together a beat with all of these tools, so I'm using all these tools in the beat. I'm gonna go ahead and play that out for you guys, but I do want to say that I definitely appreciate you guys for checking out the content as always. Make sure if you guys do like the content, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. All right, guys and gals, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so every time a new video comes out, you can be the first to know. Let me know what tutorials you want to see next in the comments, and see you next time.
Sum, hit the key.